Now, we have a special report tonight as new figures reveal violent crime involving under-18s has more than doubled across the West Midlands in just 5 years. For those young people growing up in communities blighted by gun and knife crime, there's growing anger at cuts to the local government services. They feel there is a direct link to the violence. Our special correspondent Peter Wilson has spent the day with one community in Birmingham listening to their concerns.
Chantal Foray prepares for a street party this Sunday. Her road in Borsall Heath, Birmingham has seen more than its fair share of youth crime and social problems. She's a mother of 5 and is trying to make a difference.
Everybody looks out for each other's children, regardless if you know each other. That can make the parent take time away from taking their eyes off the child for a split second to talk to somebody else. Their children are playing, they know that they're safe. You're right. I'm all right, just giving out the flows for the street party and stuff like that.
Chantal has set up a group called Unity Streets after a local youth club closed 3 years ago. Here I found anger and worry about what the long summer holidays will mean for the young.
They're just removing everything and then putting the blame on the next generation. The blame of pure badness is always on the next generation, but they take everything away from them.
Late in the evening, 6, 7 o'clock because it's still bright, put up the buntings.
In recent years, the police, even armed officers, have been no strangers to Eastwood Road. But this Sunday, with the street party, neighbourhood police officers in uniform are also invited. The community wants to put on a positive face. While Chantal gets busy organising the street party, a group of young men agree to talk to me. Michael is a rapper and says he's trying to give youngsters a positive message.
All the community centres that used to be around there, that used to keep everybody bonded together, it used to make everybody have something to do, whether it's making music, playing football, sports, just activities. Now there's nothing for the kids to do, you get me? So they're going to get into trouble, they're going to find some mischief to do.
While we talk, a car speeds up the residential road. What was all that about?
No, that's just normal behaviour. That's just boredom. You just drive around and kids bored.
Across the West Midlands, millions of pounds have been cut from youth services. Birmingham City Council say they're maintaining 16 youth centres, but are dealing with severe budget cuts.
So they use so much, don't they?
17-year-old Connor Fowler is a youth commissioner. Today, he listened to the warnings coming from Eastwood Road.
You've got an example of so many youth clubs going down there, and I draw attention to the fact that the country has seen a rise in violent crime, for example. But if you've not got any interventions such as a club for people to be entertained and learn morals and so much more in such a social community like that, then what do you expect? What does the country expect?
Believe in young people.
Chantal is fighting to get the local centre to put on youth club activities. Most schools break up after tomorrow. Birmingham, the city with the largest youth population in Europe, will be on holiday. Everyone hopes they'll have a useful, peaceful time. Peter Wilson, BBC Midlands Today, Borsall Heath, Birmingham.
Well, these are difficult times for local authorities. In 5 years, Birmingham City Council's youth services budget has been cut from just over £4.73 million to £1.86 million. 3 council-run youth centres have closed as a result, leaving 16, and that's for the whole city. Well, joining me now are Connor Fowler, one of the city's youth commissioners, you saw in Peter's report, along with David Jameson, the West Midlands Police and Crime Commissioner. Good evening, both. Good to see you both.
Good evening.
Connor, we saw your immediate reaction in Peter's report there, but what would you say is your main sort of takeaway message from the people you met today?
Really just about how much it means to people, because I think everyone sort of thinks, yes, these people really need it. But you've got so many, Birmingham, it's the youngest city in Europe. There's so many diverse people, so many diverse communities, and how much they mean to people, especially under the age of 18, because people often question, what are people meant to do under the age of 18? But if you're withdrawing youth provisions and youth clubs from them, then you have to sort of step back and ask that question, what else do you expect? So I just think speaking to young people, today and otherwise, just what do you expect? And I think, people need to take responsibility for that, really.
OK, people need to take responsibility for that. David, are you one of those people that needs to take responsibility?
Well, I think there's 2 things here. We need tough action from the police, but we also need to work with communities. I mean, excellent work being done there, because in the end, you know, it's communities that solve these problems. The police assist them, but where you've got really good leadership, which is clear there, that's when you solve the problems of crime and deal with some of the violence and other things that are happening.
But
in
there
those
is
communities.
definitely, there has to be a link here with budget cuts, and you have a budget of your own, don't you? £2 million. I wonder, Conor, do you wonder where that £2 million is being spent?
Yeah, well, I was speaking to young people. I think everyone thinks. Obviously, I've spoken to David quite a lot about it, and like we've said about like community engagement, particularly with young people. And David has like assured me, and like I will speak to other people about going into schools with knife crime and everything. So I do wonder, but I am assured with David, and that what I've communicated to people throughout the West Midlands is that there is a lot being done about it, with a lot of money sort of being focused on with that.
OK, some interesting advice certainly from your Youth Commissioner there, David and Conor. Many thanks for your time this evening. Thank you. Well, our colleagues on BBC WM have been focusing on this issue as part of their Make a Difference Week, and you can join the conversation on their breakfast programme with Alex Lester tomorrow from 7 o'clock. To today's other news now, and people in Walsall have been describing how they were terrorised